What's up, everybody? Today we're going to look at this hardpoint match. I'm going to kind of maybe use a couple examples out of it. But really, I made this video. I kind of want to talk more about hardpoint. Now, number one thing, man, solo queuing is such a hard thing to do because you don't know what anybody's going to do. And you have people flipping spawns on you, giving your team bad spawns, holding spawns, not blocking the right areas. Like in this hardpoint right here, you want the enemy team to spawn directly out in front of us here, right? You want them to be kill fed into that window. Yeah, it's kind of a iffy spot on whether you can win stuff out of there. But say you put somebody on the catwalk, I'm sitting right here, and it prevents them from doing what they just did to me, right? Breaking the building and just coming out and flanking. Basically, all spawn blocking is doing is preventing your team from being flanked. Now, giving up map control is a serious thing that happens, and it's just one of the main reasons why you lose hardpoint. Map control is so important, and that's why my big tip for y'all, man, is don't play. If you're not going to be in the hardpoint, don't play far away from the hardpoint. Say I'm right here, and the guy that is on, over there on catwalk still, or over there at the hard point in the back by tennis courts, and he's holding that position over there. He's flipping the spawn to the complete caddy corner of the map. Like that just happened to me right there. I spawned probably like one spawn away from being the worst spawn that I could possibly get to be away from this hard point. And it's just kind of like you need to break the map up into a limited area that you're going to play within if you're going to be outside of the hard point. Now, like this is what's happening. Like if I wasn't rotating right now, I'd be committing a huge no-no. So it's completely caddy corner. If I hold here, right, if I didn't rotate, these guys would have held this hard point and won. But if I hold here and the point was up front, and my team will spawn closer to me now, or spawn closer up here as long as we hold position and nobody lingers too far. As you can see on the mini map, I got two teammates out front of the hard point holding out there, and that's exactly where they should be holding from. And if you're going to be outside, and that's one thing that really allowed us in this team, especially in solo queue, is these guys didn't linger too far, right? They're not Johnny Two Thumbs mashing down the sprint button across the map flipping spawns. They're hanging in there, they're hanging tight, they're hanging close. And like just right here, I didn't go right up the map. I threw some fire down there to that guy to keep him over there so he wouldn't rush up here and shoot us in the back while me and my team came up here. And then my teammate came up here and got that guy down to a one shot, came up right behind him and then took him out. And then that gave me the position to pick up the dude that I gun fought down the alley there. And then while I did that and picked up that last few seconds of the hard point, my team rotated, because me being here over there and that team member that I held up at the front of the map gave my team the spawn of this side relative to this hard point here, and allowed them to come into this hard point and get rotated early. Now if you're not aware of what you're doing, you could really mess up a hard point, because essentially you have, I would say you have like 3 levels of spawns that you can get on hardpoint from best to worst. Best spawn that you could possibly have is the one closest to the hardpoint. The second best is the one that's middle, like a in between the farthest away and the closest away. And then the absolute worst one that can lose you a match is the farthest one away, because let's say I spawn really close and I only have like a 3-second or a 5-second sprint to get to the hard point, versus the 10 or 15 or 20-second spawn, depending on what route you take to get to the hard point. That's 5 points versus 20 points, right? And 2 deaths and you've lost a point basically if you get the farthest one away. So if you essentially just quit playing so far away from the hard point, quit running all over the map, because that's the biggest problem that is happening now, especially in solo queuing, on like essentially every game mode. Take a look at search. There's only so many routes that are effective. There's only so many routes that people are going to run. Unless they're really trying to lose you with the little 3-cup game or whatever, and switch it up, switch it up, switch it up, and never do the same thing twice. I mean, it's kind of just like hand in hand with paying attention to where you are. I mean, that's like the hugest thing is, where are you at on the map? How are you affecting your spawn, and how are you affecting the enemy spawn? So another big tip for y'all is pay attention to what your team's doing, and pay attention to the scorecard. If you don't know what your team's doing, or then how do you know what your team needs from you? And if you're not being a team player, I mean, you don't have to be on mic. You don't have to be talking back and forth, but you should be assessing the situation death by death by death, and really switching up and switching gears and doing what you need to do. So right there, I knew I had my team, 3 of my team there, and I knew this guy was pushing this way, so I decided to try to flank him because I didn't really have a whole lot of chance of flipping the spawns on us or giving us a bad spawn, because I had 3 dudes that side of the map that we needed. And so it gave me the little chance to come there and stop him from pushing the team. And with that being said, if the points, this map in particular, Embassy, there's 2 buildings with the middle alley coming up the middle, and essentially you need to think in this map in quadrants. What quadrant is the hard point in? You shouldn't be playing outside the quadrant of the hard point. So if it's on this side of the alley, never cross mid and go to the other side, because you can flip the spawn to a bad spawn. And essentially never cross, like if they're playing that alley right there straight in front of me in the back, don't go all the way down to tennis courts, because you can seriously just go over there and stand in the corner and hold those guys off down the alley there, and keep a good spawn. And then right here, you go over there by those vans, straight in front of alley, and just hold the guy spawning out of the back. I mean, there's only so many routes that they can run from a certain spawn, but there's a whole lot different idea involved when people are scattered through the map, because you have enemies spawning far, close, near, middle, and it switches death by death by death. And the best thing that best piece of advice I can offer you guys is really pay attention to what's going on in the match, really pay attention to the positioning of your teammates, and really pay attention to the positioning of yourself relative to the hard point, and really pay attention to where you're spawning at. Like, if you're spawning in the same exact location over and over and over again on hardpoint, that means that somebody is holding a spawn on you or blocking a spawn and essentially kill feeding you. Now, there is a point, I don't know if it's came up yet in the match or if it's about to come up in the match, but the enemy was holding the window across, I call it garden. And some of these things, guys, everybody uses their own call outs for whatever reasons right here, but this door right here to the left, that little window that comes straight across from the alley right there underneath catwalk, that hard point, if that's the hard point, you shouldn't be on that window side. That's a perfect place to that window right there, that's a perfect place to have the enemies send through. And you have 3 or 4 guns on that window and the window above, and all your teams on that side of the alley, that means that the enemies are spawning on the other side of the alley, and they'll just kill feed right to you guys through those windows. So I mean, just get a little bit of research in you, get a little bit of idea of how things work. And there is the way to play where you can just sit in the point, your whole team sits in the point and fends everybody off and give them full map control, because that does work, especially when you're running against randos. But with that being said, y'all, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by.